Okay, let's go through the answers to some of these questions. So in question 1a, we need to differentiate the following and leave the answer with positive indices. So our function is 4x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. Okay, f dash of x, our differential, so we're going to bring the indice down, so you're going to do 4 times 3, which is 12x, and you're going to reduce that indice by 1, so we have 2. Same thing here, so we're going to do 2 times 2, which is 4x, and we're going to reduce that indice by 1, so it's 4x1. And when we differentiate this, we just get -3, because remember there's a 1 here. And when you differentiate this, you get 0, so we don't need to write anything. So our answer is 12x squared plus 4x take 3. Okay, let's try question B. So we have to differentiate this. The first thing we need to do is bring this indice to the top. Okay, so remember when we bring a polynomial or number with an indice to the numerator, we change the sign of that indice. So we have 2 on 3, x to the minus 2, minus x minus 1. So that's our function. Now to differentiate our function, we bring that indice, multiply it by 2 on 3, which gives me -4 on 3. X, and then we minus 1 from that indice, so that gives us -3. When we differentiate that, we'll bring that down, so we have -1 x to the 0, which is 1, so you have 1 times 1, which is 1, and when we differentiate -1, we get 0. So that's our answer. The only problem is we need to leave our answer in positive indice form, so we're going to need to bring this back down to the numerator to make it positive. So our differential is -4 on 3x cubed minus 1. How about this next question, question D? So similar approach, we need to write this to the top. So remember, when we bring that to the numerator, we change the sign of the indice, so we get -1/2 x to the minus 3 plus 5, and square root of x we could write as an indice, that's x to the half. So this is what our function equals. So the differential f dash of x, okay, bring that down, so you get -3. In fact, a negative times a negative is a positive, so you get 3 on 2x to the minus 4, we differentiate that, plus, going to multiply that, so you get 5 on 2x, and if you minus 1 from a half, you get -1/2. Now to write this in positive indice form, we have to bring that to the bottom, and we also have to bring that to the bottom. So we have f dash of x equals 3 on 2x to the power 4 on the denominator, plus 5 on 2x to the half. And you could also write that as square root of x. Okay, let's try question D. So our function is 1/2. This we're going to write as an indice, and we're going to bring it to the top in one go. So we have x to the -1/2. Remember, square root of x is x to the half, and when you bring it to the top, you change the sign. Plus, this time this is on the top anyway, so we're just going to split this as 5 on 2, and that would be x to the half. Okay, now the differential would be 1/2 times -1/2, which is -1/4, x to the power of -3 on 2. Okay, and then we have 5 on 2 plus 1/2, so that's 5 on 4, x to the -1/2. Now to write everything in positive indice form, f dash of x is -1 on 4, x to the power of 3 on 2, plus 5 on 4x to the half. Basically, I've just brought this down to the denominator and changed the signs of the indice. Okay, and this one's a bit trickier. So If we have, we're going to use this rule, if we have a fraction a plus b on d, we could split that fraction up so it's the same as saying a on d plus b on d. So we're saying that on that plus that on that. So we're going to use the same approach here. So we have square root of x on 3x minus x on 4 on 3x. Okay, instead of square root of x, let's call that x to the half because it's the same thing. Okay, and if there's not a number in front of x, there's a 1. So we're just going to write out the numbers first. So we have 1 on 3. Okay, and then we have x. When we divide pronumerals with indices, we actually minus the indices. So there's a half here and a 1 here. So to work that out, you do a half take 1, which is negative a half. Okay, the same over here, we have minus. There's not a number here, it means there's a 1, so minus a third. And we have 4 take 1, which is 3. So that's x cubed. Now we can work out the differential, which is neg 1 on 6 x, and neg a half take away 1 is minus 3 on 2. Okay, and then we're going to do a minus a third times 3, which is actually neg 1 x squared. So our differential in positive indice form is neg 1 on 6 x to the power of 3 on 2 minus 1x squared.